You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Folks, stunning video came out last night. Dozens of displaced residents of the Bahamas hoping to find refuge in the United States were kicked off a ferry headed to Florida on Sunday night. As we've been reporting, parts of the Bahamas were devastated as Hurricane Dorian lashed the country last week. Hundreds of residents are still missing, and authorities have said that it could take months to tally the dead. Now, the number, of course, right now stands at 43. 43, but folks, that didn't stop the crew, the United States crew, from making this announcement.
When you come into the USA, you will have problems. So please, all passengers that don't have U.S. visa, please proceed to disembark.
Now, for the longest, of course, individuals from the Bahamas did not have to have a U.S. visa. All they needed simply was their passport and a police report. Peter Vasquez, a yacht broker in Fort Lauderdale, who's been delivering aid to the Bahamas daily, said he has been bringing storm survivors back to South Florida, and they had no problems. The people were not required, again, to have a visa, but they did have to check in upon landing, where they were processed by custom officials, according to Vasquez. Also, Donald Trump spoke out today on this and talk about just, beyond idiotic, what he had to say. Let me pull this video up for you guys so you can hear what he actually had to say. And it goes to show you again what kind of person we're dealing with in the White House, where he literally, first of all, again, y'all, just go to the video.
It did get hit, not as hard as we anticipated. And you look at Georgia, you look at South Carolina, North Carolina. I'm going to North Carolina right now, North Carolina, to have a rally for Dan Bishop. But before I go to the rally, we're going to be stopping at one of the sites that got hit very hard by the hurricane. So we're also recovering from a hurricane, but we have to be very careful. Everybody needs totally proper documentation because the Bahamas had some tremendous problems with people going to the Bahamas that weren't supposed to be there. I don't want to allow people that weren't supposed to be in the Bahamas to come into the United States, including some very bad people and some very bad gang members and some very, very bad drug dealers. So we are going to be very, very strong in that. Let me just explain. Large sections, believe it or not, of the Bahamas were not hit. And what we're doing is bringing the people to those sections of the Bahamas that have not been hit. We've done a lot of the USA aid. We've done a lot of work with our Coast Guard, with our FEMA people who have been phenomenal. I mean, they've been phenomenal. So we'll see what happens.
Again, talking about idiotic. Listen to him even talk. It's just crazy. Let's go to our panel. Chandra Jefferson, Democratic strategist. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for Environmental Justice, EPA. Also, Dr. Avis Jones, DeWeaver, political analyst, leadership strategist. Now, his comments came after you had a White House official who said that we are going to allow folks from the Bahamas to come in for humanitarian reasons. What this is a person led also by Stephen Miller. It is abundantly clear they do not want black people in this country.
Let's extend it. They don't want any non-white person, whether you're Muslim, Hispanic. I mean, people are coming who want to come here for humanitarian reasons, and that's not good enough for Trump. And I take huge offense at him saying that there are people who weren't supposed to be there. Like what, you have ISIS taking refuge in the Bahamas before a major hurricane so that they can try to come into the United States? His reasoning, there's no logic to his reasoning other than that he does not want to help people who don't look like him. Absolutely.
I mean, this is someone, first of all, he's a psychopath. I really believe that he does not have the capacity for human emotion. He's also narcissistic. He does not care about anyone other than himself. And right now, the Bahamas, actually this type of response plays well for him for his base. Let's just be very clear about this. This is a political strategy here. And thirdly, I mean, he's just someone who is, I would just say, evil. Honestly, he really is. This
Yeah.
is another example of this. I mean,
This is evil.
if you look at just the devastation there, and the fact that these people have nowhere else to go. It is not enough space in the Bahamas that was not hit.
Well, but here's
just
what
to really
but here's
transfer
what's so
everybody over
stupid
there.
when he says, well, you know, a lot of places in the Bahamas that weren't hit. Okay, that's no different than when a hurricane hits Florida
Right.
or hits Louisiana. Okay, there are 49 other states not impacted, but it doesn't mean that somehow that's really no big deal.
Right.
The reality is Freeport is the second largest city in the Bahamas.
Right.
Grand Abaco, the third largest. And so Nassau had some flooding, wasn't hit as bad. We're talking about 900, 1,000 homes wiped out. Literally, I was talking to a friend who was from the Bahamas, and she says all throughout her Facebook page is RIP, RIP, RIP. The official death toll is 43.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
She said there's far more RIPs on my Facebook page
Absolutely.
Yeah.
than 43. And Mustafa, want to listen to this idiot. Again, this is his basic response to people of color. Mexico sending rapists and gang dealers, now drug dealers and gang members from the Bahamas.
It's a continuation of framing people of color as less than human. I've worked a lot of natural disasters and man-made disasters, and people were always invited in to make sure, you know, they were processed, but people have always come in. So what this really is about a racist immigration policy that's broken and needs to be fixed. It is also about climate apartheid, where we separate and segregate individuals and put this tiering system in of who gets in. And a great example would be the storm also went up the coast and came over to Newfoundland. So imagine if the people in Newfoundland had to come to America,
Yeah.
do you think that they would be turned away? And the other thing, too, is for people to have the forethought to actually have their passports after going through where 70,000 people are homeless right now because
Yeah.
their homes have been destroyed, to be able to have the forethought to have that documentation and then be able to get on the boat and think you're finally going to go to a place where you can actually get a drink of water, where your children will be able to rest and not be afraid of what's happening, and then to be turned away, those 130 people who were turned away, that speaks to the inhumanity of this administration and their lack of understanding of why you need to have strong climate policies thought out. And a part of this is a part of the devastation that happens of making sure that when people are fleeing from the impacts, that the process will get them in.
But I don't even think he's paying attention to what's going on in this country. You know, what's going on in the Bahamas. I don't think he fundamentally cares.
Oh, of course.
No, of course not.
And that speaks to the issue of you saying that this man has no empathy.
Right.
For him, this is a foreign country inhabited by black folks. He don't care.
Absolutely.
And there is no political gain. There is nothing for him to get of actually caring other than just a basic human response. Because remember, for Donald Trump, everything is about personal and political gain.
Right, absolutely. And I would just say, just to your point also about this is specifically a racialized standpoint, there are over 500,000 white, undocumented immigrants in this country right now.
Yep.
I have not heard one peep out of this White House about trying to round them up and get them out or put in any sort of barriers in terms of their future.
Doesn't want to. They're white.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He wants more people from Norway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they passed the buck. So just like with Sharpie Gate, when after he got caught up in that and said, you know, he didn't do it and all this other kind of thing, you see the same thing. So now CPB is actually saying that it was the ferryman who actually made it. So they continue to pass the buck and not make sure that they are being held accountable.
First of all, these folks lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't take anything that they say as truthful.
True.
I assume anything that we hear from the Trump administration is a lie unless proven otherwise.
Amen.
Because you know they say innocent to proven guilty? No, for them they're guilty to proven innocent.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They lie about a whole bunch of stuff. And that's why, that's what you're dealing with there. But again, Stephen Miller,
Yep.
Trump, all these folks, they want this to be a white country.
Yeah.
The reality is, if you look at their policies, they do not like the fact that we are moving towards a nation becoming a majority people of color country. This is what their policy is. This is what the Republican Party wants. They want this to remain as long as possible a white country because the demographics do not align with their politics.
Right.
That is the reality of what's going on here, and let's just not even confuse it with anything else, folks. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Luxe Jazz, the experience of a lifetime, delivering top-notch music in an upscale environment. Y'all got my Gerald Albright clip for me? All right, then, of course, the week-long event taking place at the Omnia Day Club Los Cabos, nestled on the Sea of Cortez and the celebrity playground of Los Cabos, Mexico. Folks, it's going to be an amazing time, November 7th through the 11th. I'm going to be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered that Thursday and Friday from Cabo. Talking about an upscale international destination, luxury accommodations, great food, music, drink, all that good stuff, golf, spa, health, wellness, you name it. It's going to be a fabulous 4 days. And y'all know it's going to be cold by that time, so y'all want to get the hell out of them cold states. Now, you want to lock this thing now because, of course, tickets will be sky high the later you wait. The second annual Luxe Jazz Experience, again, it's going to be a great event there, folks, with events like the Spirit of Jazz Gospel Brunch and the Jazz Sunset Cruise. Confirmed guests, comedian actor Mark Curry, Gerald Albright, Alex Bugnon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, and Ernest Quarles. For more information, folks, visit lifeluxejazz.com, LIFELUXE jazz.com. It's LIFELUXEJAZZ.com. Again, we're going to be broadcasting there that Thursday and Friday. Looking forward to a great time, so come on out, bring your golf clubs, and I'm going to take some of your money because y'all know how I play golf. But I'm more than happy to beat y'all down in Cabo. So come on out. Looking forward to it. 4 amazing days of jazz, food, fun. And so again, lifeluxejazz.com. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.